Today we're going to talk about the proportions of the face. Proportions basically means the comparison of size and angle between different units. So we're going to start with an egg shape where the thin part is at the bottom, and then we're going to divide this shape into two. So the way I make my egg shapes is I start with a circle, which you are going to draw very lightly. I'm going to draw a little bit darker because I want it to show up in the video. And you can see how I didn't get that shape exactly the way I wanted it the first time. I had to go back in and kind of redraw that line several times because it doesn't always work out the first time. Now I'm going to divide this circle in half and just kind of see, it's about here. So this is about my halfway mark, and I'm going to take that measurement right there and I'm going to bring it down here and make a mark. And that's about how long I want the jaw to be. All right. So I start with a circle, divide it in half, add that to the bottom, and then I get my egg shape. And now I'm going to divide this in half. So this is about 8. So I'm going to do about 4, and I can check it with my fingers. It's a little low. I'm going to move it up a bit. There we go. So that's my halfway mark here. So I'm going to draw this guideline. Again, when you draw yours, you're going to draw them very lightly, whereas I'm drawing mine darker so that it can show up in the video. And now I'm going to divide it this way. This is 5 inches. So I'm going to do 2.5. Now my face is divided. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is place where I want the eyes. If you imagine the face and you measure it out, divided by eye width, there will be about 5 eyes across the face. So if this is where the 2 eyes are, there's a space you can imagine between the 2 eyes and 1 to each side that's equal to the size of 1 eye. So that means I need to divide this space into 5. Okay, mine happens to be 5 inches. So I'm going to basically do a mark every inch. And that kind of gives me a space where my eyes will be apart. Now, this tutorial is not going to go over how to draw eyes. This tutorial is mainly focused on placing things and making things the right size. So for the eyes, I'm just going to put a simple kind of football shape in here so you can see where the eyes are going to go. The next thing we're going to do is decide where the nose is going to go. So we're going to divide this bottom part of the face in half, and that is going to tell us where our nose will go. So this is about 4 inches. So we're going to go with 2 inches. Remember, this is the bottom of the nose. Now, to tell us where the sides of the nose are, we are going to drop a vertical line down from the corner of each eye, and that's basically going to tell us how wide the nose is. Now, this is Mr. Generic Man. for the most part, if you look in the mirror and you put a ruler between the corner of your eye and your nose, you're going to notice that they line up. Not everyone has this exact measurement, but it's pretty close on pretty much everybody, right? And we're not going to get into too much about drawing noses here, but for the most part, there's like a big circle and two little circles. And this is kind of like the bottom part, and the nostril goes up, and the nostril goes up, and this is like the side, and then all this becomes shadow. But again, when we talk about drawing noses, that's going to be in another video. But this is about where the nose is. And the sides of the nose go up over the eye. So make sure you don't do the drawing mistake where people, a lot of people will make the nose go into the eye, but if you actually run your finger along that ridge, the nose, the bone kind of goes over the eye and into where the brow is. Next, we are going to place the mouth. So to start that, we need to divide the space between the nose and the chin in half, and that is going to tell us where the bottom of our mouth is. So this space is about 2 inches. So we're going to go here. We're then going to drop a vertical line from the middle of the eye down to that mouth line we just made, and that's going to show us where the corners of the mouth end. So if I put a dot in the center of each eye, that can help me. I made that pretty crooked. I'm gonna go back and fix it. Okay, so now we know that the bottom of the mouth touches here. If we kind of put a little triangle here, that can help us with the little valley that we have for the top lip. And then we can put the center of the mouth here. This is a curvy thing. Everyone's curves differently. My curve is very frowny. Other people's curves in a different way. But we have this little dip. Mountain, this comes down. Mountain, this comes down. So you can see it's like a mountain, a valley, another mountain, it comes down. Basically, these two mountains line up with the nostrils. If you imagine that that's about where they are located. Next, we're going to place the neck. So the neck is going to come out, basically, if you imagine, somewhere between the nose line and the mouth line. Generally, your neck comes straight down. It doesn't dip inwards like this. A lot of people go in, but there actually is a lot of muscle there, and it doesn't actually dip in. The sensation we get of that curve is actually coming from a muscle that comes out behind there. So if this is our neck, all right, and this is our collarbone, there's actually a muscle back there that's giving us the sense of that curve, but the neck comes straight down. The ears are gonna go about where the eye line is, sticking out this way, And then the bottom of the ear is about where the nose line is. Again, this is Mr. Generic Man. Everybody's a little different. In fact, most people's facial features are asymmetrical, so sometimes you'll have someone with an ear that's a little bit high and another one's a little bit low. Just do your best. All right, the hairline. Remember, this is our forehead and this is all hair, so about halfway. If you are doing long hair, it might come down like this. It might cover the ear. If you're doing short hair, it might come down this way. And the hair kind of comes off of the skull. All right. We could have short hair, or we could have long hair. The hair is going to follow the shape of the skull, though, in that it will curve around. It won't necessarily be up and down or side to side. And that's your basic proportions. After you get those things laid in, you can come in here and start erasing all of these guidelines. And keep an eye out for videos on how to do detailed facial features. Those are up and coming. I haven't made them yet, so keep your eyes open for that.